Hey everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Tetragrammaton. This is turn 7, and we've been having some weird luck back and forth in the start of this game. A bunch of communication with the nations around us, which has been really cool, but things keep getting weird. Let's jump into the turn. Alright, so right off the bat we can see there is a bump. I keep calling these things, right, this last turn, talking about how it's entirely possible that Agartha has moved into the cave to the north of Perenna, and that we will bump going in. And if we lose our army here, it is probably the end for us. One thing to lose our god, as long as we can eke out a couple provinces here or there, then, you know, at least once he's back, we're small, but we're back up to full strength, right? Yeah. But if we lose our army, God doesn't have anything to come back to. So let's see how things go. Alright, so one of our units did die on the march, which is unfortunate. But I don't think it'll tell you what it was. I don't think it was a Musushu. Let's watch this battle in Perenna. This is us against the villains. This should be no contest, because these little boyos, they are not going to be able to scratch our Musushus. And it's really just 4 Musushus, because this one is limping and crippled. Its combat speed is 2. It's never going to be able to make it anywhere. It's to the point to where, actually, it's probably a good idea for me to go ahead and put it on like a guard commander type situation. That would probably be a better use of its time. But these villains, they don't know what they're in for. The Musushus are going to come in and flap, flap. Just death. Just giant green dragon death. Alright. So now we've got the battle between the bump, Agartha, what's gonna happen? Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Okay. That's a block of Great Olms. And of course, Great Olms being the mind-blasting motherfuckers. And all we've got, right, is a little squad of Mushushus and soldiers. See what happens. Okay, so Masanapada is going to cast Divine Blessing. And this is not his prophet. This is just an Earth Reader casting some blessings. He's got the Blackbone. Oh, he must have lost a lot of his units, basically. Okay, so he's got the Great Olms. They've just been blessed. What do we got? Wow. Attack skill 2, shock resistance 5, defense skill plus 3, magic resistance plus 3, HP plus 1, blood surge 3, mountain survival, larger combat speed. This is a pretty freaking rainbow. I'm not sure why it's a rainbow. I guess his, not these guys, but he's got the other ones. The other, we'll look after the battle, but he's got some other infantry units that are sacred, I think. So that bless seems decent for them, right? Makes them a little more killy, a little more resilient. But it doesn't really do much for the Great Olms. What are the Great Olms gonna do? They're gonna mind burn. And nothing. And I think that was round 2 of mind burning. And they're gonna... Hey, they got 1. But almost immediately, he just pulls out of it. So... it would get another 2. Doesn't matter. Almost immediately. Oh, they pull out of it. And then the Musushus are in amongst the Great Olms. And doesn't matter if the Musushus are blessed or not. It's the Great Olms legitimately just, they don't do enough damage to bother the Musushus, and the Musushus are resilient enough to not just die in the mine blasting, and like when they get hit by the infantry line, and they're killy enough that they just, even one or two of them just takes that infantry line and goes, no, no, no. So we actually, even without a bless, we more than rout Agartha's army there. We demolish it. Out of 17 total units, we kill 7 Great Olms, 1 Pale One Warrior, 1 Cavern Guards. Is that the... No. His Earth Reader gets away, 1 Cavern Guard gets away, and 2 Great Olms get away. And we lose nothing for it. That is a huge defeat. Huge defeat. Then we have an unexpected event in Kun Aral. Unnecessary laws have been abolished. We've got Turmoil +3 and Unrest. So... again, I tend to play as a Scales Nation, and this is rough. Like, getting into this scenario with all this misfortune, it feels rough. And then realizing that I've got Sloth and Turmoil Scales has made me go, oh shit, I really need to get some of my Enkidu Elders out and get my province defense up as much as possible to help combat the turmoil from the rising unrest, because I just have naturally rising unrest. Oof, I gotta spend some dosh on that, or else that is going to be a very big deal for me. So, but it's hard to focus on something when we're sitting not too pretty at the moment. But this was a good turn for us, and this has turned into a weird turn for us. And this is why. We're attacking Agartha. We have a nap 1 with Agartha, though. We have a nap 1 with Agartha until turn 10. Agartha has contacted me and dissolved our nap 1 and asked that I attack and finish him. Because, according to Agartha, they only have this. They have had abysmal luck in expanding. And with the bump here in Perenna, we have basically killed what they had remaining. And they have asked that we just finish the job. Now, this is actually still going to be, if assuming they do not resist, this is still going to be a little difficult for us because we do not have much. If they do resist, if this is a ploy, or if they do, put up a fight, their province defense might actually fuck us. So that's something to worry about, right? But we're gonna do it because of 2 things, right? Obviously, I'm gonna do it because this game at the end of the day is about having fun. And if a player is not having fun and they ask you, hey, I'm not having fun in this game, go ahead and take me out, I think that's what you should do, right? Absolutely, I think that's what you should do. And that happens sometimes in a game like this, right? If I had lost this bump and this is all we had, I probably wouldn't have tossed in the towel. But I would have basically just been like, yeah, game's over. There's nothing I can do. I'll put together a little band and maybe I'll just charge Fomoria's capital here in like 5 turns and be like, hey, bro, I'm going out. Here's a bloody battle. Then take all my land. What have you. Something like that. But, this is a rough situation as a player to be in, right? For just talking about an Agartha's stead, right? That's hard to do, right? It's hard to be like, it's hard to be in that situation 7 turns in and only have 3 provinces and want to continue playing the game. So I absolutely understand that scenario. So we're gonna go ahead and do as we have been asked, and we're gonna take it as a blessing, right? We're gonna take it as a boon. We have had pretty abysmal expansion, or pretty bad luck, right? Our expansion would have been great if not for the bump with Femoria, we would have done just fine. But the bump with Femoria crossed with then immediately losing Perenna afterwards, etc., has been kind of a nightmare as far as expanding our borders go. But diplomacy-wise, things have been going pretty nice for us. Being able to establish a friendly relation with Agartha immediately in the form of a NAF1, and then just having open communication with us. The same thing with Pangea, being able to hash out borders amicably. I've spoken a lot to Femoria about the bump, and they've been pretty like, oh, sorry, that wasn't our intention. We weren't really meaning to be super aggressive towards you. They have, according to them, right, they have really bad provinces on their right side, so they're trying to move in a different direction so that they can expand. So we're having these pretty good diplomatic relations, which hopefully are going to give us a leg up in the long run, right? Basically fill in the gaps for our shitty expansions. And this is going to take us a while to move in on Agartha. Even if they don't resist, I still, it's turn 7. We can hit Bel for turn 8, which is what we're doing, by the way. We're moving Masanapada into Bel, and then we're going to move the Enkidu Slave with all of the reinforcements into Perenna. So this will be turn 8, right? And then on turn 9, we'll hit the Womb, and then on turn 10, we'll hit Agartha, right? And even if he doesn't resist us, right? What's going to happen is the fortification is going to have at least 200 wall integrity, because I think it's the same fortification that we have, a walled city, I believe. But it's going to have 200 wall integrity. We only have 37 siege strength here with this army, and we have 56 here with this army. It's going to take at least 3 turns just to pop the fort. So if we move on to it in turn 10, 11, so we'd get a siege tick on 10, a siege tick on 11, and a siege tick on 12, then we'd be able to attack on 13. And this is if all of that goes perfectly in order. If there's no interference from Femoria, if there's no interference from Relay, if there's no interference from Agartha themselves, right? That's going to be, this is turn 7. That'd be turn 13. That's another 6 turns just for these 3 provinces. And that's kind of a big deal, right? That's a lot to dedicate. However, it is a capital province. And it's a capital province that we're interested in, right? Agartha gives a lot of Earth, which is pretty great for us. We do want Earth. And even if we can't expand, like if Relay realizes what's going on and gobbles up the coast, right? We still have this. That still kind of like locks these 2 in for us, which they're kind of crap, but whatever. If we can at least get our cap circle, if we can get this scenario down here, we still end up having an interesting little segment of land and 2 capitals to try to grow out of. So I think this is it's a very wonky, very weird kind of start to this game, but it's interesting. I'm thinking that this game is going to be a very interesting game. Either that or it's going to be a very short game. I think I said that at the beginning, though. Like, I think I said this was going to be a fun game, or it was going to be I'm out before turn 30. And that still might happen. So we'll just have to see how it goes. So we have a couple of intricate... I'm kind of like just rambling on. We have a couple of intricate things that we're doing this turn. So we are moving Masanapada into Bel, and we have our Musushus out front just trying to take the brunt of the action. That being said, there's no military units here, so I'm hoping this is just going to be free. Then we move this force in, right? And then we'll combine the 2 in the womb. I am hoping Femoria is heading kind of back towards their lands. I don't know what their kind of plan is. Maybe they swing up here and then they head down. But Yomi's right here, right? So I don't know if they're going to try to, like, just hold this territory and be like, this is mine, or if they're going to say, okay, well, we've taken this, and that's what we're going to utilize for now. I don't know what their plan is. I think he might just be fishing to see if he can expand into areas, and then trade off provinces and things like that. We've already talked to him about trading for Terrenia. So we'll see how it goes. Right? Otherwise, we're doing some other stuff. We're moving Luga. I need to actually rename all these. I'll do this after this video. We're moving this Gudu, an Heir 2 Gudu, into Kun Aral. And we're doing that because we want to start site searching ASAP to get an income of air gems. Air is probably the third most important option for us. We probably want to get to the point to where we can empower a Gudu up to Air 3. Because from there, we can do, I think it's, what is it? Not Apkulu, Ugalus. Yeah, Ugalus. And these guys are pretty good because they're all Air 3s. And having a bunch of Air 3s, being able to summon an Air 3 mage for 24 is, for 24 air gems is pretty good. So that's something that we would, if we can get up to that point, right? It's a situation where we just do that for the rest of the turn, right? We just summon Ugalus basically every time we get 24 air gems, with the rare occasion, you know, getting like some air boosters or different things to like manage being able to cast storms or etc. And then we use all of our Air 2 Gudus, right, as Thunderstorm casters. Not Thunderstorm casters, Thundercasters. Thunderstrike. Is that what it's called? Thunderstrike? Thunder. Yeah, Thunderstrike. Thunderstrike. Oh. So that's an interesting thing that we can do, but we have to have a air gem economy to get to that. So since we're on our research page, actually, we're gonna hit Alteration 2 this next turn, and I do think we are going to commit to at least Alteration 3 or Alteration 4. I think Swarm is an incredibly potent option for us early on in the game, especially since we have so many nature gems. And I also think being poised to contest for Mother Oak is important. So if Pangea doesn't grab it early on, it's something that we could potentially grab early on and try to hold on to it, right? What else are we doing? The other big thing that we're doing this turn, you can see we still have 328 gold. We are being very careful, very particular with our recruitment this turn. We are getting Enkidu Elders, right? Because I do want to get the defense organization going in a lot of my provinces, but also because these guys are decent leaders. So, and I need some more leaders right now. We're also recruiting, as per always, we are always going to try to recruit a Musushu every single turn. And we're recruiting some Inky's Chosen. The reason why we're doing that is because this little force and the force that we're recruiting, probably with an Enkidu Elder, could take out Greenwoods. And I'm just trying to make sure we get a little bit more expansion here or there whenever we can. Okay? I don't think it can probably take Sinkhole, but if next turn, right, we spawn those, that'd be turn 7, or that'd be turn 8. Then turn 9, we hit in Greenwoods. If our god respawned on turn 10, we could potentially take this army and our god into Sinkhole Swamp and go from there, right? So I'm trying to factor in all of these different particular timelines. And the other particular timeline that we're trying to achieve is trying to set up a fort in Kohnberg next turn. So our forts... I might have done the math wrong. I might have to redo. No, I think I did it right. So our forts cost 750. All right, if we take this, we got 750 in 5 months in order to build a palisades. Okay. We have an income of 701 with an upkeep of 97. I think we actually, like, I want to do... So what our goal is, our goal is to have enough money to do both a fort in Könberg next turn and still recruit a Musushu. Okay? Like, I would actually rather hold off on the fort for a turn than not recruit a Musushu. That's dumb. That's a bad idea. But that's really what I would rather do. So we're trying to balance our treasury so that even with unrest factored in, and that's where my math becomes kind of very wobbly, is I'm not sure how much ticking unrest is going to cause us to lose comparatively. So I'm trying to be a little cautious and give us a little bit more leeway. But in theory, we should next turn be able to do fort here, Musushu here, hit Greenwoods, right? We'll have hit Bell. That turn we'll be hitting the Womb, etc. And then suddenly our expansion looks a little bit better. Not great, but a little bit better. And we're setting up a fort. It's a late fort for what I would rather it be. I would rather have had a fort going up this turn, and I think we'd be able to do that if our expansion hadn't been stymied. But if we factor in the concept that turn 13 we should be gaining a capital fort in Agartha, in theory, right? Then having a fort here, cap fort here, being able to set up a fort in Perenna pretty soon, right? Suddenly things start to look a little bit better for us. That's the general game plan. Fuck. This has been such a strange game to start with. Alright, but that is it, I think, for the turn. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this here. I'll see y'all next time. Bye, everybody.